We're 2 hours before the open. It is Monday, September 20th. Hello, traders. I'd like to do a video this morning on the 1OP indicator. Yes, it does work for after hours futures trading. So let me walk you through the price action last night. We have a big market sell off today. Some of you might have been trading this move. So here's the gap up that we had last night in the overnight futures, and you can see how the price action is very, very compressed. Now, we break down through the low of that gap up, and all of a sudden the market starts to drift lower. Would this be enough to get me short? Not really, although we do almost have a bearish 1OP cross. Ideally, I'd like to see 1OP well above zero and then cresting off of a spike. Didn't quite get above that zero line, but the price action itself should have told you that there was trouble ahead. Once we take out that compression low, long red candle. Okay, another compression, long red candle. Still nothing very daunting in here, although we can see that this is a gap reversal that's starting to form. We can also see the close from Friday in this area right here with that long red candle down to a new low. That is a support breach. Yes, this is where I would start considering a short position. Is any of this right now based on 1OP? Not really. This is more based on a gap reversal and weakness that we saw last week. We take out that low from Friday. This is where you should start looking for a short position. Is this consistent with 1OP? Yes, it is, because 1OP is continuing to drift lower. And we know that when it's going lower, we expect the market to go lower. So there is a nice little shorting opportunity in here. This long red candle and this big drift right here tells you that the market's in trouble. If this were simply a shakeout, you would see a immediate reversal and then the market would start to trend higher. That's not what happened. This red candle closed on the low, and this second bar right here was a doji, meaning that all of these losses had been preserved. That's a sign that we're going to continue to go down because buyers would be tempted in here to try and buy this dip when they can't lift the market off of this low right here and at least retrace to the halfway point of that red candle. You know the selling pressure is heavy. Pause for 2 bars and then another leg lower. Now here's where 1OP starts to come into play a little bit because off of this low, you're getting a nice bullish cross. What would I do here? How does 1OP help me trade the S&P 500 futures? Well, it tells you that right here, you should be looking for support. And this is where you'd want to be taking profits on your short. So we get a nice little rally in here and we get a bearish cross. Would I be shorting right in here on that bearish 1OP cross? No. No, no, no. We need technical confirmation. That technical confirmation would come off of a new low right there. We don't get it. So the market spends some time compressing. Now, looking back at the price action, this is very heavy selling pressure. And you can see that the futures at this point had dropped about 30 points in that move. That is a very, very strong trend. We can also expect that there are going to be some bearish divergences because we know that that happens with the 1OP indicator when we have super strong trend strength. So the market comes in, we get a bullish cross right in here, and we get a little bit of a bearish cross right here. Draw your line across. This would be a small shorting opportunity. Yes, I would probably take that short, but as soon as I get my bullish cross and I start seeing mixed candles in here, long green candle off of the low, able to retrace half of that red candle, mixed green and red. This tells me that there is some support forming and I've got that bullish 1OP cross. Would I be buying? No, I would not be buying, especially not with that type of heavy selling pressure. So we get a nice bullish cross in here. There's a bearish cross. This actually looks like it may set up pretty well because we've had time for the market to compress. We also have something else in play here that I'd mentioned earlier. 1OP, up, 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 up. What's the market doing? Flat as a pancake, not able to get off the deck. This is a bearish divergence. This cross is likely to be a very good one. this cross is consistent with the heavy selling that we've seen earlier. The market just needed to spend some time and consolidate. So let's see what happens here. And there we start to see a drift lower. So that was a nice entry point right in there off of that bearish cross and the breakdown. And now we're starting to gain some momentum. You can see how the 1OP indicator had a bullish cross in here. Again, would we be taking profits here? You could. I mean, you've got tails under body in here and you've got a little bit of a compression, but the longer term downward sloping trend line is still intact. And you can see how all of these little bounces have been very shallow. They have not been able to get going and the sellers are right back on it. So would I have taken gains right there? You're short up in here, take gains in there. You've got nice gains. It's an overnight session. They tend to be relatively choppy, so you certainly could, but you'd be ready to short again on a market breakdown. Given that we had a bearish divergence and that strong trend strength, I would try to stick with the position. Now you get another bullish cross way down here, very, very deep. What are the candles telling us here? Well, we've got a bullish hammer, doji, a couple of green candles in here. Nothing to really shake me out of the position. Certainly nothing to get me long. So what you would want to do here is likely to be another pause. You get your bullish cross in here. Yes, if you were short up here, if you did not stop out here, you would want to take some gains right down in here and wait for the next rally, wait for the next bearish cross, draw your upward sloping trend line, see if there's another shorting opportunity. So now we get another bearish cross up in here. Anything that I would be shorting right now, well, you've got a small upward sloping trend line right here that's breached. I would be less interested in that. Why? Because I've got a mix of green and red candles starting to form in here. And that kind of tells me that the majority of the move might have run its course, but let's see what happens at this low right here. That's really what I'm going to be watching. I have another bearish 1OP cross. So let's see if we can get a good red candle in there. Yes, that's a nice one down to the new low. I think that's a good move right in there. You've got most of those losses preserved by that candle and then wham. So this would get me short. This would keep me in the trade. This starts to get me excited. I don't like a green candle that's retraced half of that red candle, but I would still be sticking with the position and I would use my entry point as my stop. So continue to go forward. You can see that bearish 1OP cross is very nice. Confirmation right now. And that's it. So yes, we're continuing to trend lower. But the 1OP indicator, very, very useful tool. You have to watch price action, which is not too difficult to do. You want lots of stacked red candles. As soon as you start seeing a mix of green and red candles, or if the bodies of the candles start to get very, very tiny, then you know that that trend strength is not very good. But as soon as you get those technical breakdowns in that 1OP cross to confirm, you know that the trend strength is good, so you want to be shorting on those opportunities. When you get your nice big dip in here in the 1OP and you get a bullish cross, you're not buying, but you are taking profits on your short position. So the 1OP indicator, in addition to giving us excellent entry points, is also telling us when we should be taking some chips off of the table. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.